What's going on? Happy Monday. Hopefully your day is off to a wonderful start. Another interesting day of the NFL yesterday. Congrats to your Browns being 3-1 and put a hurting on the Dallas Cowboys and that stellar defense.
Yeah, man, a lot of hype around Cleveland right now. Dallas's D is definitely not good, but man, that was one of the better Browns games I can remember.
So happy for you. My Packers rolling tonight 3-0, taking on the Atlanta Falcons, who could rival Dallas for the best defense in football potentially. So it should be an interesting one. But we got a double slate tonight because of the COVID testing of Cam Newton. So we got two games. If you guys want the members-only video, we broke down this slate in detail. We also covered both showdown videos. Day passes are up on the website. I can send you that video if you are interested. But in the meantime, let's get into our dissection of the two-game slate and who are some of our favorite top overall plays are.
Let's get it, man. We seem to see this slate similarly, so let's break it down.
All right, guys. I just want to continue to reiterate, we were both able to cash this weekend on the overlay progressive, had some solid bets on the matchup shop as well. I would say the only bane to my existence, it was a good NFL weekend on all sites for me. David Johnson and the Texans, you were right. I shouldn't ever look at a Texans team and have any confidence in them. Actually came out and stunk. But outside of that, it was a really good week on overlay. That could have made it a lot better. If you guys want to get in on that matchup shop action, we've been talking about it, Instagramming, YouTube, and talking about it nonstop. If you are looking to be a brand new member, you've heard about us talking about them for over a year, sign up for any of these types of deposits, and we will go ahead and match you what you deposit with one of these memberships. One of the best parts about that website, and it was already done today, I put good money on Devontae Adams this morning because he was still kind of up in the air, and he was getting 6 against Kelsey, which I love, but it didn't play out. Adams is out already. They send you your money back right away. There's no worrying about injuries and getting screwed with it.
For props, if you're betting props and they don't play, they're going to refund your money.
Yeah, that's nice to know. So you can get money in the game and not worry about it. Plus, sometimes, I don't know about if you ever get into it, but like for me and you and half of you guys listening, you got DK lines, FanDuel lines, year-long fantasy. Sometimes if you just put good money on two players, you can hone into a game and just know exactly what you're rooting for and exactly who you're rooting against. Last night, I put nice money on Iggy over KCP. It made the game really enjoyable to know exactly who I was rooting for.
Amen.
Time KCP lays up a brick, I'm a happy man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, subscribe to the station if you're new to it. Thumbs up is always appreciated. Looking at the quarterback position tonight, I think there are arguments to be made for most of the quarterbacks on the slate, which isn't a lot because it's only a two-game slate. But we both seem to be looking at Matt Ryan right here. One, the Falcons' defense is so terrible that he has no choice but to throw the ball. They went and got a Todd Gurley. He's not what he once was. They're going to have to throw, and we like the price discount down to Matt Ryan. We also love the fact that the game script calls for him to have to be throw heavy. Patrick Mahomes is better than he is, but there's no guarantee that Patrick Mahomes has to sling it a lot tonight.
Yeah, exactly. You got to like the presumable game script for Atlanta here. Backs against the wall. Either way, Green Bay is going to put up some points. Atlanta's going to have to be throwing. Their offense is built around Matt Ryan and those wide receivers. Expect him to get a lot of throws here. We like both the wideouts also. There's just a lot to like about this Atlanta passing game on a mini slate where the other game could be a little bit more defensive oriented.
Like, they obviously wouldn't do this, but it's not crazy to think that if the Kansas City Chiefs wanted to win tonight, but they were only allowed to throw it 10 times, like they could find a way to win this game by probably only throwing it the 10 most opportune times in the game. Matt Ryan is not in that position.
This is true. You got a lot more confidence in KC to just roll than I do, though.
KC's so good. It's a rough spot to lose your quarterback at the end of the week like that in Kansas City. They're the best team in football, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't mean that they, Bill Belichick won't find a way to be competitive. They're so good.
They are good.
So, all right, next up, speaking of Kansas City, check out their running back at only 6,200, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Home game versus Hoyer in the Pets, not even Cam. He's primed to ball on the public stage, on the big stage right here. Last time we saw him, we've seen him a couple times actually already on the big stage this year. He's played well. Every time I've seen him out there, he's viable in all game scripts. And you can run on New England. This goes back to last year. I remember you pointing this out halfway through the season. The Patriots defense was playing pristine, but they can be run on. This hasn't changed.
No, it has not changed. We talked about it. I kind of expect you kind of expect Kansas City to put their foot down here. The talent discrepancy is just big time with no Cam Newton at quarterback for the Patriots. And either way, I mean, Clyde is just going to have a big time workload in the running game and the passing game. I think that they make an effort to get him the ball a lot. Last Monday night was all about Mahomes. Didn't really need Edwards-Helaire because Mahomes took over everything. I think you see a little bit of a different game script today. We both like him quite a bit.
Plus, I mean, if Kansas City gets up a couple of touchdowns against Brian Hoyer, just pound the rock with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Or if they kind of just come out and take him easy and don't give a best effort like they did against the Chargers, then he gets him in the passing game.
Love it.
All right, next up. So speaking of the New England Patriots, we want to talk about James White. So the most likely scenario for New England is they're going to be playing from behind. So I got James White as a real flex spot nominee in this situation. You know, if you like something like that, probably playing with a heavy heart tonight. Maybe he's running a little bit harder. This is a nice opportunity for him maybe to alleviate some of that real life stress and just the awful couple of weeks he's had in his real personal life. So there's no Sony Michel tonight. This guy's got experience with Hoyer. He's been with the Patriots for a long time, as we all know. You know, very likely they're going to have to throw the ball a little bit. They probably want to run the ball, but that's not necessarily are going to work out, you know, when you got Pat Mahomes on the other side of things. So I like James White to gobble up the PPR points tonight in a situation where I think there's quite a few reasons that he could have some chemistry with Hoyer.
Agreed. Not only in the likely scenario that they're down and have to throw, but even if they get up, like neither of their running backs are guys that you feel comfortable with, you know, pounding the rock up the middle like a Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They're going to get White involved a lot. We've seen this before. They don't have Sony Michel. I think he gets the most touches out of the backfield. And quite honestly, him and Edelman are their two best offensive players right now.
With no Cam, that is a true story. All right, next up. So we want to talk about MVS, a.k.a. Marquez Valdez-Scantling of my Green Bay Packers. So Devontae is out. Allen Lazard is out for weeks. He is now the number one wide receiver in Green Bay. If you had to theorize, what do you think his ownership is going to be tonight within like the cash game and GPP realm?
It's a good question. I would say somewhere. What would you say first, and then I'll guess.
Cash games, 70%. GPP's 50%.
I was thinking something like that too. I was going to go like 65 in cash games and 50 in GPP, so we're right on.
Okay. I'm seeing way too much stuff today, the same today, which can be good or bad. We'll see how that plays out later on. My thoughts are, if you want to get him into your cash game lineup, I completely understand. However, we've seen this before. This is not the first game under the Marquez Valdez-Scantling regime, or whatever you want to call it, that he's been the number one wide receiver for the Packers when Davante Adams is out. It has not typically gone well for him before. They are going to be very light on wide receivers, so he should be out. I know Aaron definitely wants to get him going, but he has shown no ability to be consistent and produce consistently. In the same spot last year, what you saw the Packers do is shift more to be a running football team, to get Aaron Jones involved in the passing game. They utilized the tight ends. They ran Aaron Jones to the outside and got him involved in more passing patterns. Valdez-Scantling was a virtual no-show. Now, he had a monster week one against Minnesota with a couple of deep balls that made everybody think that, oh, maybe this guy has kind of turned the corner. Since then, he's got one catch that's nice and then a couple other short dump-offs where he hasn't really done much. So I do not think he's a lock for really good points tonight. The other flip side of fading him in the GPP realm, there are good wide receivers on the slate. Tyreek Hill, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Julian Edelman. If you play Valdez-Scantling, you are taking away from one of those plays as well. So I completely understand playing the proposed ownership idea right here and playing him in cash games, but we're both widely considered the GPP fade. And if I played 3 GPPs tonight, I'd fade him in at least one, if not 2.
Yeah, I do think that his ownership is cut down a little bit just because of your wide receiver point. Like, there are a lot of wide receivers. However, as Aaron Rodgers' top wideout, he's going to get love. That's just a fact. And the third bullet point, man, I'm all about the fade here. I don't think he's particularly great. I don't think he's a great wideout on a lot of other teams who wouldn't even be talking about him. But he's on a very shallow wide receiving core that's hurt, that has Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. So he's in a very good spot, no doubt about it. And he's facing Atlanta. I mean, it's hard to fade him. It's hard to do like a full fade. He could easily score twice in this game. No one would be surprised. But I see it both ways, just like you do. I think in cash games, you're probably smart to play them, and in tournaments, there's really interesting and intriguing cases both ways.
Yeah, if they were playing a good defense tonight, I would be very, very much more bullish on the GPP
Same.
fade because it's Atlanta though, and they can give it out to anybody. That's the part that makes this one difficult in my eyes.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we want to continue to move down the list and talk about another Green Bay Packer, tight end Robert Tonyan, who has now scored a touch in back-to-back games. Lewis is likely out tonight, which means they're down to just the two tight ends. No Mercedes Lewis in there for blocking. No Devontae Adams. No Alan Lazard. It's Atlanta, as we've already mentioned. I think we could see a real Robert Tonyan breakout game. I know he caught a long touchdown against Seattle a year or two ago. He had a couple moments here and there last year. And then again, back-to-back games with the touchdown is looking real good. But he's not a bad player. I wouldn't say he's great. He's not Travis Kelce. He's not Darren Waller. But he's not a terrible tight end by any stretch. And I do think you could see Aaron utilizing tight ends tonight. I think he's got a real good opportunity to make this 3 straight with a score.
Yeah, he likes his tight ends. He always has. And we wanted to talk about him also because there's a couple different slates on the menu tonight. You've got this one, the 2 gamers we're talking about it, where Tonyan and Sternberger are priced pretty close together. You mentioned it on the members only video. They're both firmly in play. At basically the same price, you prefer Tonyan, though, because he's been more involved, etc. On the showdown slate, the prices are drastically different. And there we prefer Sternberger, but we're talking about the 2 gamer here. Tonyan looks like one of the better value plays on the slate at 3,800. Rock and roll.
This could also be a spot where both guys succeed, right? Like they are down on pass catchers. None of the wide receivers playing in Green Bay are very good tonight. We expect them to use a heavy dosage of Aaron Jones in this game, but if there's anybody in the league, with the exception of probably Pat Mahomes and Russell Wilson, the third guy is part of that, mini Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks that can make bad, or less than stellar skill position players look good. It's Aaron frickin' Rodgers.
No doubt.
So that's what we got for tonight, guys. Appreciate y'all watching. Don't forget to click the thumbs up button. If you would like the members only video, we go through the showdown lineup building and everything like that. Day passes are up through the website. Otherwise, you can make that deposit on overlay for first time players or buy a flat out membership on the website. We'd love to have you no matter which way it is.
Thanks, guys.